Welcome to the show, everyone. I made it possible for everybody to talk about themselves right here on the radio. Who doesn't like to talk about themselves? And that's what we're doing here with everybody, talking about what they do. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show in just a little bit here. I have with me my first guest, who's a newbie. I love my newbies. I have with me David Martinez. He's the owner of CDM Law Firm. It's estate planning and business law. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do.
All right, thank you, Carol. Yes, my name is David Martinez. I'm a native of Arizona. I've lived here all my life, just over 50 years.
Not a lot of people out there are the natives. They're usually not.
Yeah, that is true. Lots of the people that I work with are not from Arizona, so they see me as kind of an odd one sometimes. I graduated from Arizona State University, so I have an undergraduate in finance from the business college there, and then I also received my law degree from there.
Okay, now I understand that you wrote a book, okay, and I want to talk a little bit about this because today I know you do both estate planning and business law. Today you wanted to talk a little bit about, obviously, estate planning, and I want to get your book out because what we're going to do, we're going to open up the lines to the audience for everyone to be able to get this book. Listen up, everyone. This is a perfect time. I mean, a lot of people put their heads in the sand when it comes to stuff like this. Look at where we're at today and all this is uncertainty that we have. What a perfect time for you to be listening to this right now and getting the information that you're getting from here. That's what I love about my show. It's just information for everybody. So tell everybody a little bit about the estate planning that you do and the book you wrote.
All right. Well, in 2017, I wrote this book because I know that a lot of people have questions about what exactly estate planning is. And my book has a series of 16 short questions, and it's actually a very quick book to read. It's only just over 50 pages. But the point of it is to just spark people's interest and to answer some of the questions that they have about estate planning, why they need to do it, what are the different things that you need to do or you want to plan for when you're doing your planning.
What made you have the passion of doing estate planning?
You know what, I really like to help people. I love to sit across from somebody and ask them, what is it that you want to have happen? What do you want to accomplish? It's not about what I want, it's about what they want.
You know, I like sitting across from people too and asking questions. It's kind of funny that you said that. But I think that's where this comes in with you, being able to have the passion in your heart to help people who are in, obviously, they put their heads in the sand. They don't want to talk about this, but it is so important. Listen up, everyone. I had a situation that happened to me, and I'm talking about this with you because I want people to understand. And my father, who thought he had everything done, and it was done with an attorney and everything, did one little thing that they didn't do together or however that happened, but that one little thing hurt me the most. And that's what's really sad, is that you can make mistakes. You know, I didn't ask you before you came on, do you do second opinions with people and talk to people, you know, who maybe have already even started something like this?
Oh yes, and people come to me and sometimes they say, you know what, I started this with somebody else, I didn't feel comfortable, I wanted to see what your thoughts are. And when I meet with people, what I tell them is, look, I want to do what's right for you. I don't want to do what makes me the most money. That's not my objective. My objective is to figure out what you need and just give you that.
So the book is called Estate Planning for Your Future, giving your family certainty and peace of mind, and we all need it right now. We definitely need peace of mind. And one of these things, I know when you do it, let me tell you guys, you're going to have that lift off to your shoulders, because something that you probably should be doing or dusting off and getting those out and having them re-looked at again, really important for you to do, whether it's you or someone that you know. Our number here, 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. And I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show to be able to get this book. This book is not a book that you're going to sit down and just kind of have a little summer read here. You might have one question in it that pops out that they can read. But it's simple to read. It's a very easy, short little book. And most people, these are probably the questions you get asked all the time.
That's right.
I bet. Now let me give out some of your information. You're located in Chandler, but you can help anyone from anywhere, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, the phone number to call him, write it down. because you know what? You know you need it. You know you need to do it. At least write it down. Give them a call. You do free consultations with people?
I do.
The number to call him is 480-454-1540. He's rated with the Better Business Bureau. He does second opinions. Check him out on his website. It's CDM Law Firm.com. Call in here, get the book. Estate Planning for Your Future. 602-277-5369. Okay, we got all that out. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the things that we want to talk about. Like, what is probate and how can people avoid it?
You know, a lot of people come to me, and that's the biggest fear they have, is they're like, I don't want to go to probate. And just in short, what is probate? Probate is basically a court overseeing the administration of your estate. And your estate is basically what you have when you die. People don't want to have a court do that. People want to decide for themselves how things happen, and they don't want to have to go through a court or administrative process.
Do you have to have a lot of money to do this?
No.
I know you don't, because I don't have a lot of money, and of course I have had mine taken care of. I think it's important for everyone out there to do it. Dust them off. If you haven't looked at it a long time, it's important for people to do that, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It's not a one and done thing. It's something that you need to revisit every few years. That's because life happens, right? Things change, and as things change, you need to make sure that you stay current with your situation.
Especially right now. Look what's going on in our world that we're living in right now. Things are going to happen. You might lose somebody in your family, obviously. You might get a divorce. You might decide that you want to make those changes. And if you don't take care of these things, you're going to be sorry in the end. You really, even though you may not feel it, it's your loved ones that are left over that, believe me, when I got hurt, it was unbelievable. And I'm wildest dreams would have never thought. And that's usually what happens, you know. Let me give out the other question that I wanted to get out to you is, what documents do people need to prepare to start, you know, this whole thing?
So when you want to get started, you basically are going to answer a few questions. Most people, the questions that they want to know is, if something happens to me, how do I ensure that the assets that I have go to who I want, when I want them to go? So we do different types of plans. We'll do a will or a trust. It depends on your current situation. One of the things that people want to do is avoid probate. And oftentimes people mistakenly believe that if they have a will, that means they won't have to go to probate. That's not true. If you have even a little bit of assets, you are going to go through probate even if you have a will.
It's very important that you listen to this information, whether it's for you or someone that you know. Nudge them and say, you know what, we really need to do that. And I know it's so hard to talk about this conversation, but what an important one, especially right now, guys. We have so much uncertainty in our lives right now. Let this be something that's behind you that you can kind of not think about for a few years, right? And then kind of revisit it again.
Yes.
Now, the book is called Estate Planning for Your Future, Giving Your Family Certainty and Peace of Mind. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Call in here. We're going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further. You can check him out on his website. It's CDMLawFirm.com. He does second opinions. He does free consultations for everybody. He is rated with the Better Business Bureau. You could check him out again on his website at cdmlawfirm.com or call him direct. That phone number is 480-454-1540. I know you guys are procrastinators out there. That you are. Everybody is, and especially when it comes to this subject, for some reason, no one wants to talk about it. Make it an important conversation and talk about it all together with your family. We're going to go to a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk further and more about the books and learn a little bit more about this. Again, you can call here and get it, 602-277-5369. Are you liking it? So you see, did you think it was going to be anything like this?
No, I just tried to focus on just having it be a conversation and just, I'm not going to worry about speaking perfectly. I'm just going to be me.
Exactly. That's the best thing to do. Right now I've kind of gotten to about 3 of these so far. I'm kind of playing intertwining them. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Perfect, okay. So in terms of some of the people that are listening out there on Facebook, So you say that the number one question that you get, or it isn't a question, it's more of like, how do I avoid probate?
Right.
And you say that people don't have to have a lot of money in order to do this. It's more about, is it more about, in the beginning, you know, what do you want as your wishes for you?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. I want people to answer that question for me. What is it that you want to accomplish? That's the most important thing. And then what I do is I look at the situation and I say, okay, here are some ideas. You may not need a will. You may not need a trust. If you don't have a lot of assets, you may just need some direction on what you need to do. You might be able to get by just fine with the will. It might just be more like a catch-all just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people need more than a will. So, and they need a trust. And, you know, they vary. I tell people often, I'm not the highest and I'm not the lowest when it comes to the price, but I am going to take care of you. That I can promise you.
Right, and so we can talk a little bit about that if you want to. In terms of price, it doesn't really matter. We want somebody that you can confide in, because when you're talking to someone like this about this, it is somebody that you want to feel comfortable with more than anything.
Right, it's a relationship of trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people will come to me and they may be referred by somebody and that builds that trust there. Other times it's just going to be that feeling that you get when you're sitting across from somebody and knowing that they really care.
Sure, and that's kind of like why it's cool to have a radio show, because they can hear that from you. If you had your own show and you were talking about, you know, probate and what happens in it, and stories, they love stories, which we'll talk about afterwards. But those kinds of things are really great to do, because what happens, you can even, let's say you had opened it up to the audience where you can say, you know, this is what happened to me, and let's say whatever, you had somebody call in and said, hey, yeah, I had that happen to me too, or this is what happened to me. See how you can do that? It'd be kind of neat for you.
Yeah.
And it's different than just, it's a different way of approach of doing it. You're still educating them, but differently.
Yeah, and everybody hears differently, everyone learns differently.
You see how fast it goes by. It goes by really fast. That's why there's no way ever worry about this, because the main thing is you want me to say all the information over and over and over, because if I just said it one time, that's not what I do.
No, that's the more important thing.
Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. And we are talking with David Martinez, and he's the owner of CDM Law Firm. It's estate planning and business law, and we are talking about estate planning right now. He wrote a book. It's called Estate Planning for Your Future, Giving Your Family Certainty and Peace of Mind. And our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. It's a really easy, simple, very short little book, but it can answer lots of questions, things that you might have not thought about. Even if you have one already done, it doesn't matter. They might have something in there you might have not thought about. Again, you could call here throughout the rest of the show for it. Our number here, 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. We had talked about not needing a lot of money for this. We were talking at the break when we were on Facebook, and we're still on Facebook with everyone listening there too, that it's really more about what people's wishes are. And I loved your answer, is that you just said you want to talk about what their wishes are first. You don't care about anything else.
That's exactly right. I just want to know what they want to accomplish. And that's because what they've worked hard to acquire as far as assets and who their family are individual to them. And so it doesn't really matter what somebody else did. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what they want.
And everybody has a story. This starts with a story and what your needs are, wants are for yourself. Number one, there might be things that you have to worry about, being that you might, God forbid, get sick, you know, or something happens to you and you're not the one that can make those decisions. That's huge right there. And then there's obviously other things when you have assets and all of that. And you had said also there's times when you may not think that you need a trust, but sometimes you do.
Right.
So you don't know until you ask. And when you have that conversation with him, it's a free one. The number to call him direct, it's 480-454-1540. Write it down, put it on your refrigerator, and do it. Don't just look at it. You can also call in here and get the book. It's called Estate Planning for Your Future, and our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. I really, really like this question. How do you designate who will take care of the minor children?
Yeah, this is probably the thing that puts people off the most. Sometimes they don't agree with their spouse about who's going to be the guardian of their children. But I tell them, if you don't decide, then a court's going to decide, is that what you want? And they say, absolutely not. And I say, well, then we need to address the hard question now. That way you know it's who you want.
Well, and again, this is something that anyone that is listening here right now, you know, maybe you just got married and you're just having children. This is a great time now to make sure that you have taken care of some of these things, and throughout the years you can dust it off and make sure that it's up to date, because that's going to change too. You might decide that someone's out of the will, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. You might have some changes that you might want to make, and that's why it's really important to make sure that you do look at them periodically and not just once and that's done. And you can call him. He does do second opinions. His phone number, it's 480-454-1540, or call in here, get the book. We'll get that to you. Everyone's getting it. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Okay, so how do they make sure that their children are taken care of financially?
Well, a lot of times what we're trying to do is make sure that in the planning that we set aside, or we do for them, that we set aside money specifically for the children. And a lot of people, it's a little bit different. We don't necessarily want our children to get a lot of money at 18. I actually don't recommend that. And so with a lot of people, we ensure that there's money set aside at different ages, at different periods of time for children. That way, if your children, for lack of a better word, blow it with the first chance, that they know that there's another opportunity, and you know that they're going to be taken care of.
I think it's very important, because especially we have kids don't know what to do with the money, and you can't just always just say, okay, well, split it in thirds and let it go, and that's it. There's you have to make some decisions that could be very pertinent to your situation.
That's right.
Go ahead.
What I like to do with people is I said, you know what, you don't need to just put it as a specific age. You can make it conditional upon achieving a 4-year degree, getting a technical degree, that might actually get you the money a little bit earlier. But the objective is, what does the person want their kids to accomplish? If they value college, then they want to put incentives in their trust or in their planning so that the child will go to college.
What a great idea. I never even thought of something like that. See, now that's just what I love about this show. I never thought of that, and it's perfect because there are a lot of people. I know my mom wanted us all to go to college, and it would have been perfect to have in there. And if you did, that's like an incentive for that child too, to know that that's what they wanted, and at the end they get, let's say, a bonus for doing that. Is that correct?
That is right.
Well, we've got our lines open here for the book, and you can keep on calling throughout the rest of the show. It's Estate Planning for Your Future. The number to call here, 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So how does someone get their assets into a trust?
Well, when you do a trust, it comes up with a legal name. I mean, it's an entity like itself. Although you maintain control over it, if you don't put things into the trust, then you're not, if you die, then your successor trustee, that's who you pick afterwards, won't have control over it. I tell people a trust is much like a bucket. And we can create a beautiful bucket, but unless you put stuff in the bucket, then your successor trustee is not going to be able to do anything. We need to make sure the assets are in there. So we retitle things like bank accounts in the name of the trust, investments in the name of the trust. Some assets you don't have yet, so you can't put in the trust, like life insurance. But we point the asset into the bucket because we name a beneficiary as the trust.
So again, here's the thing about these kinds of things. You don't know what you don't know, right? And this is a great way to sit down and talk to him. He does do free consultations with everyone, and he works in Chandler, but he can help anybody, anywhere. It doesn't matter, especially today. You can do everything over the phone. You said you do most of it there.
Yeah, what we found through this event of COVID, right, is that a lot of times people don't want to come in or can't. And we've been doing Zoom calls or conference calls, and really the only time you really have to come in is when it's time for you to sign the document.
And one thing I know is once you sign them and you've done it, boy, what a lift off your shoulders it is. It feels wonderful. You'll feel good about it. They'll feel good about it. I know for me, my father didn't make that an easy conversation. I wish he would have, because all of those things probably would have been brought up at that, was that a word? It would have been brought up at the time, and it would have made things a lot better. And I see this, if it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. And I know it does.
It does. And what I tell people is this: we plan for the worst and we hope for the best. But when we plan for the worst, the thing is, we can let it go. We can focus our lives on other things and be productive. But this is something that will weigh on your mind if you haven't done it. I can't tell you how many people will say to me, I've been worrying about this for so long, I feel so much peace now.
Absolutely. Look at some of the famous people out there that didn't have a will or a trust done, and everyone says, oh my God, I can't believe that they didn't have that. And they had lawyers with them working on all their stuff. But when somebody doesn't want to do something, they don't do it, and I think it's just that they don't want to talk about it. It's just a conversation that's about death.
That's right, and it is scary, and it is one of those things where you have to address some hard questions, and when you just try to avoid hard questions.
So basically, what do they need to get started?
You know what? They just need to call and set up a time to just discuss their particular situation. That's all it takes. You have to start somewhere, and if you just say you're going to do it and write down on a list, unfortunately, what we write on a list doesn't get done.
And it doesn't help anybody else either, because sometimes they call those pour-over wills, right? But if you have written something on a piece of paper and it's not done properly, it doesn't mean anything. And that's what's really bad.
That's right.
What are your final words for everybody out there?
You know what? Take the time to do something that's important but isn't urgent. Stephen Covey had 4 quadrants, and one of the quadrants are those things that are important but not urgent. People tend to push those things last, and the thing that gets ahead of them are the urgent, unimportant things. Don't do that.
Let me tell you, right now we're living in this really uncertain times, of all the times, and you've got nothing else better to do, gosh, right? Get out there and sit down with your family. Let's have that conversation with them. Also call him and have even getting everybody together. It's probably the best thing that you can do. If you've already got one done and you haven't looked at it in a long time, dust it off and have him take a look at it. He does do second opinions. The book is going to be here for everyone to get. Continue to call throughout the rest of the show for it. And it's called Estate Planning for Your Future, Giving Your Family Certainty and Peace of Mind. Wouldn't we all love that? And I know once I did mine, I know for sure that I felt so much better. You will too. The book is a real easy to read book. It's simple, it's short, and what I also like about it is that it's going to give you answers of things that maybe you didn't even think about. We're going to leave our lines open here for the rest of the show for everyone to get it. Call in here at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Check him out on his website. It's cdmlawfirm.com, or call him at 480-454-1540.